Hi, I'm Jill. I'm a Dollhouse miniaturist of 30 years, and I started this channel to show people how I meet miniature dollhouse challenges. So let's go and see what I'm up to today. Well, I know it's not New Year yet, it's New Year's Day, a couple of days away, but I thought I would assess my studio while I was in the mood, and I'm just going to go through and work out what I'll be working on in the next year. So I thought I'd take you with me to show the extent of this job. This is a 1930s dollhouse that was built in a cedar tea chest, and I've been restoring it, and I'm determined this time around that I'm going to finish it this year. So I'm going to write that down on my list. 1930s dollhouse. And then I've got this one here, which my mother bought and realised it was far too heavy for her. And I have got the front of it in my workshop because it needed some work on it, and it did need a lot of work on the roof. And I did a little kind of a window in the front, which I've got to do a little roof on. And it's got very deep rooms. And so I've been pondering on these deep rooms and trying to work out the best way to use those. It's got lots of attic space, and you can see I've got lots of stuff up in there waiting for homes. So that is my French Lavendar Cottage. Sorry about my finger there. That's the Lavendar Cottage that's going down on the list. Another room box that I haven't worked on for quite a while is a room box that is built from the recollection of my mother, and it was her childhood kitchen, and her father built this house and he decorated it in the colours that he liked. And you must remember that this was in the 1920s, and so the colour scheme is rather different. And the reason why I've never finished it is because I couldn't really get my head around the colours, but I'm determined I'm going to finish it now. And so I had built this little chair, and my mother remembers a sofa being the same. It's one of those adjustable ones, but I didn't make that adjustable. And so it has to have a settee. And she said that there was a table down the middle of the room that her sister and her used to do their homework on. And her mother had a very long bench that she worked on. And this is an ever-hot stove. Now, I don't know if you had these at all, but in New Zealand, in the country, they had them in the houses. My grandmother had one, my other grandmother. And those hot plates are always on. And then they used to keep these down on them to keep it all warm, and it didn't use energy. And then there was an oven. And in my childhood, I remember my grandmother started a poultry farm up. And it was round about my birthday time, all the chickens would come with cartons, and Grandma would stick them on top of the stove to keep them warm. And I would come out in the morning and there'd be all these little yellow fluffy heads poking out the holes in the boxes, and I used to think this was close to my birthday. It was very special for me. So while I'm working on this house and this room box, I'll try and remember that. It might keep me going. Now I've got to go to the other side of the studio and show you a few other things. And the final thing that I'm thinking of putting on my list for 2025 is my modern house. Now, it's a bit hidden by the faraway tree at the moment, but I've got most of it done except for the stairwell banisters and the door in the wall that goes into the bedroom and the shower. So once I've done that, I can get ahead with it. But you know what it's like, it's finding the time, and I'm actually doing my Tudor house as well, so it's going to take up a bit of space. I think that might be late on the list, very much so. So now I'm actually on the hunt for some wood for my partner's desk, my Tudor partner's desk. There are a couple of things that stop me working in my studio, and they're usually temperature actually, and yesterday it was 30 degrees, so I was not working either in my studio or in the garage. But I did manage to sit in the office and do my plan for my partner's desk, mainly for dimensions. So this is to go in my Tudor house. And so when I'm looking for wood, I have all these boxes. You know, I've got a box that says small wood, and I've got another box over here which says small wood, furniture wood. So I shall be looking in these 2 boxes to see if there's any wood that I can be using. So getting back to my Tudor desk, I have spent a bit of time today sussing some wood out and bits and pieces that I can make the desk from. And I found some drawer fronts that in another old kit, so I might be able to utilise those. And I've made a stretcher that if you're looking from the bottom upwards, it's going to sit between the legs. If you're looking at it side on, it's going to be sitting there. And I've made that and glued layers together, and I've actually put a coat of super glue on that, and it's going to really toughen it up and make it quite wood-like. So that's been something I've done today. And then I've done something else which is a big surprise for the electrician and the cameraman, so don't be surprised if the camera dips a bit. But I've tidied up a desk here. And this is Roger's desk for the new year, and he's going to be doing his Dollhouse electrics on it. Now I know the minute he sits down he's going to want to tidy up all this rack, because he and I have different ideas of tidiness. And I must mention that this rack, blue, sapphire blue, was a present on my wedding anniversary, my sapphire wedding anniversary. So no, other women get stones like sapphire earrings. I got sapphire storage units, which says a lot, I think. And it's all good anyway. And so this is what he'll be working on next year, and I have high expectations of what's going to come off this desk. And I will be back probably in the new year, because I've got a couple of days where we've got a lot of family stuff happening, and I will carry on with my Tudor desk and get back to my Tudor house. And you may have noticed I'm not quite so summery looking, and our temperature dropped from 33 degrees down to 17 degrees, and that's quite a big jump. So we're feeling the cold a bit today. But never mind, the new year's a different year, so I shall see you on the 1st.